muscle testing. That's really thrilling.
What would be, out of all your personal experience with parasite cleansing, what would be your most disturbed experience you've had, like, of what came out of you?
Oh gosh. So personally, what came out of me, I haven't really been I grew up on a farm, so I was never really shaken up by all that.
Right.
But probably my most profound parasite cleansing was through my dog. So in 2020, my husband and I got a couple puppies, as a lot of people did. And we had our female for probably about 3 weeks, and then she started going into seizures.
I'm getting chills because I literally have the same story.
Okay.
Is this related to tapeworm?
I think it's actually toxo.
Okay. Yeah, same situation. We got puppies. One of them started to have a seizure, and then at school they tell me I have tapeworm.
Yeah.
And then I passed 2 tapeworms.
Wow.
Yes.
That must have really shocked you.
I had to take a month off of school because once the first one came out, I was like, okay, this is real. I can't deny this. I had to, like, give them names, right? I'm like, this is Victor and Victor's dad. And
Did you keep them in a jar?
No, I should have. Next, I will. Next time I will.
Well, you won't get them again, but somebody else.
Yeah.
Collect them and put them in a jar. It's fascinating.
But yeah, it's crazy. Puppies.
Yes.
So toxo, which is normally in cats, can be in dogs.
It can be.
Okay. Yeah.
So the story with this, she started going into about 3 seizures a day, and I fell in love with this little puppy. So of course my heart was breaking. I'm an animal person, and we called the people we got her from. Said, hey, is there any health history that we didn't know about with the mom or the dad? And no, everything's fine, no issues. Well, the mom only had 3 puppies in that litter, which was it was a red flag at first, but I saw this cute fluffy white puppy, and so ignored that red flag because look at this angel.
Right.
So I was like, okay, only 3 puppies in the litter, but she didn't have any issues. There's something going on. Well, we found out that mom, who's a husky, was also a cat poop eater.
There you go.
So when she was pregnant with these puppies, she would go out and get her snacks.
Yeah.
And toxoplasmosis is one of the parasites that can go through the placental barrier. So as she was developing these little puppies, the parasite got in through there. And when my dog was probably about 3 months old or so, that's when she started having these issues.
Wow.
So we decided to put her on a whole prey diet. So we changed the diet up away from kibble and did first raw food, and then eventually it led to whole prey. And we did a parasite cleanse. And we did the parasite cleanse for probably about 6 weeks. And I remember I swear it was the final die-off of the parasites. She went into a really long big seizure. And I was, okay, the timeline matches.
Yeah.
We gotta stay with it. And for me, because I was holding her and singing to her, cuddling her, I felt like it was about 5 hours long. It was probably about 20 minutes, but still, that's a long time for a seizure.
Yes.
I really wasn't sure that we were going to make it out of that one. And no issues since then.
Wow.
So
It shows.
she's now our super healthy, spunky. They are both full of energy. I will never switch off of the whole prey diet after seeing the changes there, but I really think it was the parasite cleansing that was the big turnaround.
Yeah.
However, we couldn't get anything confirmed. At the time we got them, it was when everybody was in full lockdown.
Okay.
They were brand new puppies, so we called every vet within 50-mile radius that we could think of, and nobody would take us because we weren't already established there and all of the different rules with COVID. So we just kind of had to, okay, we'll jump into this. And I've heard that parasites can cause seizures in humans, and I know animal medicine and human medicine can be very similar, so we just took the leap of faith and dove in, and I'm so, so thankful we did.
Wow.
It was wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say my most craziest, this was probably my 3rd time getting parasites out, was the tapeworm situation. But I did notice, like, my mental health was affected by it. I was suffering from uncontrollable crying. I couldn't even tell you what I was crying about. Like just like my nervous system was shot. And TMI to everyone listening, but I'm gonna tell you, when the first tapeworm came out of me from going to the bathroom, I noticed like an energetic shift in my body and my mood literally after it came out of me, where I was like, what is going on? Like all of a sudden my disposition, I'm back to being elevated. Like there is something energetically going on with these parasites, I think. Like
Fascinating.
how else would that happen?
Right. And there's so, I mean, you wonder how long was that in there, stealing the nutrients from your body and working with the enzymes and controlling every aspect of your body.
They muscle tested to ask, and it was about 6 to 7 months that it was in me. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Could you looking back at that point, could you pinpoint like, yeah, I started feeling
Yes,
guilty at this
absolutely.
time?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, parasites are incredibly interesting, disgusting little creatures.
They're so smart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that I think we all really need to know a little bit more about. Like, these are intelligent beings.
Yes.
And they can adapt. They know what's going on and they hijack the system.
Mm-hmm.
They've actually found that a lot of STIs are actually rooted in parasites, and the parasites make it so you want to be more promiscuous and reach out and spread their offspring.
I'm so glad you're bringing this up.
That, when I learned that, I was, oh my gosh, everybody in the world needs to cleanse.
Literally.
And
yes.
Yes. Yeah, and that makes me kind of think, what else is going on in our systems? We're mostly made of bacteria.
Yeah.
How much of that is influencing our mental state, our moods, our energy, every single part of being a human?
Have you, side note, has anyone sent you this document? If they haven't, I'll send it to you. It's called the Parasite Pill PDF 2.0.
No.
It is like over 100 different pages. I don't know. It's like an anonymous person who created this document, but they have compiled everything, and it is the deepest rabbit hole. It goes even deep talking about like how you mentioned how like Toxo will change someone's, make them more promiscuous. It goes deeper how it'll change their sexuality, and how there are people who are homosexual will parasite cleanse. After they cleanse, they are completely disgusted by what they used to find attractive.
That's fascinating to me. Absolutely fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
So if the world parasite cleansed, it'd be a completely different place that we're living in.
Every time I like watch the news and all these politicians, I'm like, they all need a parasite cleanse.
Yeah.
Like all of them.
Look at you.
Our whole government just needs a parasite cleanse.
Oh my gosh, then we could get some things done maybe.
Right. Have you heard about the COVID vaccines and the parasites that are in those?
Yes. Yeah, that has been quite the rabbit hole. There's a lot going on with those jabs. Yeah. So we are already, without that, pre-2020, we were already pretty much all infested.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have something that gets underneath the skin directly into the bloodstream injected into us.
Yeah.
And such a large percentage of the population really makes me wonder how are these other parasites interacting with one another to lead to some different unique health concerns.
Yeah. So my father took his life in this past November. When he passed, I found his vaccine card. He got 6 of those. And I'm telling you, after he got his very first one, I noticed a mental shift, like a personality change in him. He was not the same person.
More aggressive? Or
Yes, more aggressive, just like emotionally unstable. And it's like with each one he would get worse and worse and worse. And then he's also getting all the flu shots, which are now mRNA as well. And then, so part of my reason of going to school too was because I was desperate to figure out how to save my dad. I was sorry if I cry, everyone listening.
Oh, no,
what research can I figure out? What supplement can I give him to support him? How can I detox him? So I took him to see Dr. Katie in Owasso at Holistic Beginnings. at first I had him see or just do like a phone consultation with a holistic practitioner, but I'm like, well, maybe he'll take it more seriously if he's like in an actual office like he's used to, you know. And but what I didn't know is that he became a closet alcoholic. And yeah, so he was taking anti-parasitics, he was passing parasites, but he
so
also
he was trying. Okay.
Yes. But I feel like some sort of like, I don't know if entity is not the right word, but I feel like these parasites have some sort of entity attached to them that affects people's bodies, their personality.
I absolutely believe that, especially when you look at the research with people who are diagnosed with schizophrenia, and the parasite load that other research has shown is connected with that. It really makes me wonder how many people dealing with that, we have such a mental health crisis in this country, how much of that is due to the parasite load and the toxins that come along with that too. So you can eat clean, but if you're not cleaning up the dump sites from the parasites and they're detoxing, then that's getting into your system as well. Yeah, I think if we really nailed that down, so many people would be a lot happier. And I have noticed a lot more aggression on the roads. And people driving wild and getting very angry when you're following all the rules of the road. And I have wondered how many of those instances are related to having the COVID jab. And with the boosters and having that amplify, you know, they've been able to show in some studies that it impacts the frontal lobe of the brain, which controls a lot of your aggression. So kind of makes me a little curious about what it is that we're actually doing to ourselves here.
Have you heard about the SV40 in Pfizer?
Yes.
And did you hear how it's contagious?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send you stuff on that.
Please do.
Yeah. So basically, like, I can't remember what lab, where it was at, but one of the labs that was working on it, everyone that was working in the lab literally got it, and it was spreading. Like, it's that contagious.
Wow.
And
they've had that in vaccines for a very long time.
The first polio vaccine had it, but that was before DNA was discovered. So that was discovered after the polio vaccine was launched, and then they realized it has SV40 in it, and it causes turbo cancer. With my nicotine rabbit hole I've been going on, right? I'm like, okay, if nicotine, like most viruses, right, it causes cell apoptosis if it has it. So I'm on PubMed and I'm searching SV40 and nicotine. Sure enough, there's studies that literally say that nicotine causes cell apoptosis if it has SV40. I know so many people who received the COVID vaccine who have intuitively started using nicotine before even knowing about the medicinal side. Just their intuition. They never used it before. I actually just had a client on Friday, we were talking about this. He's like, yeah, I've never in my life, and now he does. So we have an intuition.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
So many people are starting to get a little bit more reconnected with that.
Yes.
The last few years, people are starting to say, you know, this doesn't quite feel right, or this feels something like I need to do, so I'm just going to jump in and look into that. I'm loving this.
Yeah.
Because I think for the last several decades, there have been a lot of forces that have been disconnecting us from our connection with nature and with ourselves. Social media alone is such a disconnecting apparatus, I guess. People don't know how to socialize with each other anymore.
Yeah.
And it's really just kind of isolated us all.
Absolutely. Yeah. The nicotine, I love how you brought up how it's anti-parasitic, because I remember Dr. Barnard was talking about how if someone had a glioblastoma tumor, it goes away within 3 days of wearing a nicotine patch.
It's insane. Any other research you look at, oh, you can't get rid of this. This is a major big deal, and there's nothing that can be done. And then you have this guy say, no, 3 days. We can take care of this. And it's been proven time and time again. Yeah, I always used to give my parents a little bit of guff for smoking.
Right.
And they did not get COVID.
No smokers. Like
no
maybe
smokers.
Slightly one time they would get it and it wouldn't last. Every single smoker Like, they have done better than everyone else.
Yeah, I was really shocked at first, like, oh no, they need to be careful, they don't watch their health as much, and really worried. And then this information with the nicotine started coming out, and I just kind of stepped back and was paying attention, and no, they were totally fine. It's just amazing. And if we can look into that, how many other things can nicotine, which has been demonized for so long, actually heal and help with?
Dr. Brian Artis, last year when Knight had the Eyes Wide Open conference, he was there talking. This was like before he was speaking. There was just like a group of us swarming him, right? Because we're all obsessed with him, let's just say. And so he's just chatting, and he was saying how they're now using it for autistic children. They're putting nicotine patches on it, and within like a week, it's changing. They're not as aggressive. They're not as angry. Like, their disposition is changing.
I mean, and that makes sense, because usually when people are trying to calm down, they reach for a cigarette, if you are prone to that.
Right.
That's their calming mechanism. So it makes sense that it would calm the excitatory neurotransmitters that are going haywire with people who have autism.
Yeah. Very interesting. And then, did you know that our government waged a war against all nicotine products and will be banned by 2030?
Oh, super.
Yeah.
No, I did not know that one.
Yep. Like a week or two after Brian Artis came out on a documentary talking about this, Canadian government, our government, and Australia's government all announced the same goal. By 2030, you will not be able to get any nicotine.
That's going to cause some major issues with people.
Yeah.
Wow. They're signing up for some stuff there.
Yeah.
By having that one.
Yeah, they are. Gonna have a lot of pushback on that.
Yeah. And black market type of activities.
Yes.
And,
it's interesting.
Just like the prohibition all over again. Oh boy.
And then Dr. Brian Artis was talking about how lobelia is Native American tobacco.
Yes.
So it must have nicotine in it as well.
It does.
So is it from the nightshade family?
Yep.
Okay.
That one's from the nightshade family, and it's really beautiful.
Is it?
Yeah, beautiful flower that grows.
Cute.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah. I know he mentioned that they're going to be making like transdermal lobelia patches instead of having people use for if and when we can't get nicotine.
Right,
normally.
we have to be ahead of the game
Yeah.
and kind of jump on that now.
Right.
Because these are more hoops that we're going to have to figure out, so we better get it down pat now.
Yeah. It makes me want to get some lobelia, and so I'm starting a supplement line.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of like what I should add to it, but also even if I do want to add, can I even find a good source to get it from? And but I do want to figure out something that has nicotine in it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Doesn't ashwagandha have nicotine in it? It's in the
I think
nightshade.
a little bit, but I don't know how much of a percentage that is.
Yeah.
So that one, I definitely would have to do some more research.
Yeah.
And I wish that I could say, well, yeah, you can just get a dried herb from anywhere and trust it.
Right.
But unfortunately, it seems to almost be to the point where you have to grow it your own or know somebody who grows it in order to get that.
Yeah. Luckily, are you familiar with Mossman and Frandor?
No.
Yeah, there's this awesome guy who started his own. He like makes sea moss products.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he does like all sorts of things, but he sells herbs by the gram there.
Okay.
And so one day I had a client who I wanted to put on neem leaf to start him on a parasite cleanse, and I didn't want them to have to wait for it to be delivered for us to order online. So I'm like, maybe I could figure out how to get it today. So I called Owasso, they were out. So I went to the Better Health store, they didn't sell anything. And since I was there, I saw Mossman across the street. I'm like, let me just wander in there, I've never been. They literally sold neem leaf. So
Perfect.
I got the neem leaf, and then I'm like, wait, I can encapsulate this myself. So I did that, and then I realized how cheap it is cost-wise to do it, and I'm like, this gives me a way for like clients who can't afford what they need. I can literally at cost give them what they need.
That's
you know what I mean?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my main motivation of like doing this, and then like, well, hold on, let's just keep going, because there's also people who like would trust my standards over these big corporations of where they're getting.
Yeah, especially when you hear so many terrible things about, oh well, if you go and get ashwagandha from just a big box store, you don't know that it's ashwagandha. In fact, 80% or more is not, and because it's not regulated, which has, you know, its plus and minuses. But anybody can take it, put some random dried plant material in there, and say, oh, this is ashwagandha. So that is another issue that I run into. I have a hard time knowing for sure that this is what it says it is on the label.
One time I bought, this was a few years ago, I bought sea moss off Amazon in capsules. And I took them. I literally had an adverse reaction. Like, which I don't know if this, I don't really know the medical explanation. Like, maybe it had good quality in there, but maybe it didn't. But what happened is we went out to eat and I ordered escargot like I always do. I had like an anaphylactic reaction to it. My throat completely closed up. We were about to have to leave to take me to the hospital, but we had another appetizer that was goat cheese and honey. My intuition was like, take a bite of that, even though you can't breathe or swallow, just do it. I don't know if it was the honey or what it was.
Something neutralized
it. It literally got rid of,
Thank God you listened to your intuition on that one. It guides us so much more often than what we give it credit for.
So I don't know if there was something bad in the sea moss or if the sea moss was causing me to have a Herx reaction, because I know like parasites can make you have food allergies.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was causing like a mast cell reaction or whatever it's called.
Did you try sea moss from other sources and notice anything similar or very different?
Well, since then I have. Like now I've just started to make my own sea moss supplement, but I get it from Mossman.
Okay, so you know it is what it says.
So I know, I trust exactly where it's not some random thing online that just says it's this.
Yeah.
Like I really know that the quality is good. But I don't have any reaction like that from it. So
good. So probably wasn't even sea moss that you were consuming.
Like who knew?
And that makes me wonder how many of my clients are like, oh, well, this just doesn't work. Are you getting it from Amazon, or do you know that you can trust that source 100%? Because so many times you can get something like a Young Living essential oil.
Yeah.
Good quality. A lot of people believe that to be the absolute top of the line, but there are a lot of people who will buy that, empty out the oil, get a resealer, which is very cheap on Amazon, fill it with some junk, and then make a bunch of profit off of that. And that happens all the time, which is so sad because people are trying their best to try and reach out for natural products because they believe in it. And then if they get something that is just a bunch of junk, thinking, oh, well, I guess these herbs don't work. No, the herbs do work.
Yeah.
They really do. You just have to make sure that you're vetting what you're getting.
I remember learning about a study that someone did where they tested a bunch of random supplements that were ordered off Amazon, and like 75% of it was full of sand.
Yeah.
Literally sand. Didn't have the herb in it.
You can't absorb anything from that.
Yeah.
It's just going to cause you gastrointestinal issues, and then you think, well, I tried natural medicine. Wasn't for me. Doesn't really do it. It's a big hype.
In the past I've had where I've ordered makeup off Amazon, instead of it paying this expensive, I'm like, oh, look how cheap it is.
It says it's organic. It says it's clean.
And I used it, literally my eyelids swelled up. Like I had an adverse reaction to it. I'm like, this is why we don't buy cheap stuff off Amazon.
Because it gets you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yes. Let's see.